Monday, June 9th, about 1,500 riders or so gathered with me in front of the Spartanburg Memorial Auditorium, getting ready to head out on the 33rd Assault on Mount Mitchell. We were ready to go, waiting for the big clock to count down. Everybody clicked in and we headed off down the road out of Spartanburg. It was my goal to try to stay under 7 hours and 30 minutes for my first time. And so my idea was to get as close to the front as I could and follow that group all the way through. Here I was a little farther back than I wanted to be, but I kept trying to work at it, trying to move toward the front. I had been told that's where you needed to be in order to have the best possible time. So as I worked through the group, I finally found myself up in the top 10 or 15 riders, and actually at one point actually found myself leading. And here's where I was working in the pace line with some of the top riders. Some of those, at least one of them I know, ended up finishing in the top 5. So it was great sitting in there and practicing some pace line with some guys who actually knew what they were doing. You can tell the difference in the sound of the wind as I come out in front here. And then as the next guy moves around me, you'll hear the wind abate. Really shows you right there. It really shows you a difference. I'm riding in a pace line and what that does for you, giving you some rest. The camera at this point is basically being held in my right hand against the bar, and that's why it looks like I'm kind of off to the middle, but really I'm centered right behind the guy in front. Sure wish I had been good enough to follow these guys all the way through. But I wasn't, and I fell back some, regrouping, still staying within the top 100. We continued along like this for a while, almost 40 miles in. Then we hit what will be long remembered, and that is the construction, where we stayed and waited for at least 15 minutes. Some people said 30, but I think it was at least 15 to 20 minutes we were held up.
All alone, nearing Marion. I dropped the water bottle, ran out of water, had to stop at one of the sags. Guy dropped. Now I'm coming in by myself. Should be turning into Tom Johnson here very soon. I'll rest up a little bit, then head up the mountain. I'm 3 hours and 14 minutes in. Whew. I'm going to beat my time to Marion from last year. That's a good thing. Here we go.
There was a big discrepancy between my ride time and the total time. By the time I finished the entire ride, I was an hour less time in the saddle than I actually took to do the entire ride. But here we're just pulling into Marion. Glad to see that. Another sag. Get some more water to head on up. And come by Stack of Stuff to see part 2 of my first attempt up the mountain to Mount Mitchell.